So now we begin chapter 8. Chapter 8, there we go, my A. Chapter 8 is, if you remember chapter 7, Hester went to Bellingham's mansion twofold. Number one, to give him the gloves that she'd made for him, but number two, to talk to him about her child, because she's heard that they want to take Pearl away from them because she's not living up to the Puritan ideals. She's a sinner, and now she's raising this child who supposedly is pure. And when I say supposedly, I'm not implying anything there, so don't think that I am. So we show up, and they're surprised because there she is, and they were just talking about her. And we have Governor Bellingham, we have Reverend Wilson, we have Arthur Dimmesdale, and we have Roger Chillingworth. So we have pretty much our four main characters. We have Roger Chillingworth, who is there, and he has become a person of great renown there. Excuse me. He is the friend of the minister, and on page 99, Hawthorne tells us about 10 lines up, the young minister whose health had suffered severely of late by his too unreserved self-sacrifice to the labors and duties of his pastoral relations. So Dimmesdale's health is taking a little bit of a turn. We also are identified in this page that it's been 2 or 3 years that have passed since Chillingworth came to town. So that again solidifies the fact that Pearl is about 3 years old. So Wilson sees Pearl, and on page 100 he says, "What little bird of scarlet plumage may this be? Methinks I have seen such figures when the sun has been shining through a richly painted window." And then he says, "Art thou a Christian child? Dost thou know thy catechism? Or art thou one of those naughty elves or fairies whom we have thought to have left behind us?" And she says, "I am my mother's child, and my name is Pearl." And Wilson says, "Pearl, ruby rather, or coral, or red rose." So Pearl would mean white and purity, but Wilson is looking at her and saying, no, you have the wrong name. And he says that because of the way she's dressed, the way she acts, and the colors that she's wearing. On page 101, Bellingham looks at Hester and says, at the top of page 101, that there's been much concern about thee of late, and that people are those who have authority and influence are concerned that the immortal soul of Pearl is being entrusted to the guidance of Hester. In the middle of the page, Hester says this. She says, "This badge hath taught me. It teaches me daily. It is teaching me at this moment lessons whereof my child may be the wiser and the better, albeit they can profit none myself." So she feels like what she has learned, what she has lived through, that she would be the best teacher of her child and not somebody else. One other quick observation about Pearl. When Governor Wilson questions Pearl and asks on page 99, who made you? Her response is that she was plucked from the rose bush outside the prison. So Hawthorne continually aligns Pearl with nature, and it's just more evidence to the governor that Hester is not a worthy mother. While all this is going on, for those of you who have Chillingworth on page 102, there is some good information about Chillingworth, that he has become, Hester is startled to see that there's been a change in him. He's uglier, his complexion is darker, his figure is even more misshapen. So that's an important thing. On page 103, Hester pleads with all of them and says, "God gave me the child. He gave me in requital of all things else She is my happiness. She is my torture. Pearl keeps me here in life. Pearl punishes me too. That's that mirror imagery that we continue to see Hawthorne use a lot, utilizing for us, and it just makes his point even stronger. And now we have Hester pleading to Dimmesdale, because remember, that's her minister, and she says on 103, "Speak thou for me. Thou wast my teacher and hadst charged my soul, knows me better than these men can. I will not lose thy child. Speak for me. Thou knowest what is in my heart. Thou knowest I cannot lose this child." And then he says, there's truth in what she says. You can't, there's a quality, there's a sacredness of a relationship between this mother and this child. And that we have to honor that. And that's pretty much all of 104. And then he even goes further at the very bottom. It says that this child may be the thing that keeps her soul alive, Hester's soul alive, and will keep her safe. And then Chillingworth observes on page 105, "You speak, my friend, with strange earnestness, but at least he has spoken." And then we have the first of several kisses. At the bottom of page 105, Dimmesdale, for those of you with light and dark, the shadow of his figure, which the sunlight casts upon the floor, is tremulous with the vehemence of his appeal. I mean, he has really put himself out there for Hester, and now he's had to step back and kind of get himself under control. And then while he has stepped back and is by himself, Pearl comes up to him on page 106, and Pearl takes his hand, and he turns around and lays, this is about 8 lines down on 106, laid his hand on the child's head, hesitated an instant, and then kissed her brow. And it meant nothing to her, and who knows if it means anything to Dimmesdale, but she trips off. That's the first of a couple of kisses that'll come up. So Hester gets to keep Pearl, and they decided that she can have her for a while. There is a mention of Mistress Hibbins, who we see again. Mistress Hibbins is the sister of Governor Bellingham, and she actually ends up later getting executed for witchery. She calls out to Hester as Hester is leaving, and at the bottom of page 106 she says, "Wilt thou go with us tonight? There's a merry company in the forest, and I think that the black man, the Satan, the devil, will come." And Hester says, "Oh, excuse me." She's trying to be very polite. She says, "I must go home and keep an eye over my Pearl. But," she says, "had they taken her from me, I would have willingly gone with you to the forest and signed my name." And that concludes the chapter 8. And then some things I need you to do.